don't apply to a job title but apply to a job posting. Job titles may not be the best indicator of what the job entails. Job titles may be vague, they may be pulled off a certain library within the company that they used that's more generic, but a job description should be comprehensive. It'll tell you exactly what it entails, and feel free to have a more conversational, comprehensive dialogue with the recruiter during your pre-screen, during your initial interview to objectively qualify if it's the right job for you or not.
Welcome to Security Cleared Jobs, Who's Hiring and How, the podcast for cleared professionals looking for new opportunities and career advice. We go behind the scenes with recruiters and hiring managers from leading cleared employers to uncover the information you need to make a smart career move. Get ready for insights from this week's guest and your hosts, Kathleen Smith and Rachel Bozeman.
Welcome, listeners, and this is Kathleen from ClearedJobs.Net. By my side is the amazing and outstanding Rachel. How are you today, Rachel?
Well, with an introduction like that, how can I not be amazing? I'm doing fantastic, Kathleen.
And do remember, everyone, that we have a little request for you. Please review while you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple. Give us a thumbs up while you're watching on YouTube. Make sure that everyone knows that, hey, we have a really great show today. So I'd like to welcome our special guest today. We have Parul Gupta, Vice President of Talent Acquisition at Akima. Welcome to the show, Parul.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Cleared Jobs. Rachel, wonderful to meet you as well. I am so pleased to be on this platform today to be able to talk about my company, Akima. The good news is it is a sunny day in Virginia. We've had some snow, so kind of getting out of the cold, which is great, and I am ready to go.
Well, love it. And I love that you're ready to warm up with us. And I have a great warm up question for you, and something we definitely like to start the conversation with, which is about you. If you don't mind just sharing a little bit with us and all of our listeners out there about your journey, how you ended up there and as the vice president, and kind of what your career path has looked like up to there.
In a nutshell, just to introduce myself, I have over 20 years of experience, and hopefully by sharing these years of experience, I'm not dating myself, but I've been fortunate both by education and profession. I consider myself an HR prodigy who transitioned to a professional over last 10 years. I've been within the government contracting space. I have also been fortunate to have progressed through the ranks in a role where I am now. Not too long back, I was a hands-on recruiter myself, which kind of gives me enough empathy and understanding of what it takes to make an impact as a recruiter themselves. At this time, I am the Vice President of Talent Acquisition with Akima, and I oversee the recruiting function for the enterprise.
How wonderful. And I've always heard the name Akima, but I understand that it is an Alaskan Native corporation. Can you explain for our customers what Akima means?
Absolutely. Akima is a global enterprise now with over 10,000 employees. We deliver solutions to the federal government in several core areas such as information technology. We do facilities and ground logistics work, aerospace solutions, protective services, systems engineering, mission support, furniture, fixtures, equipment, construction, to name a few. As a subsidiary of NANA, which is an Alaska Native corporation as well, owned by more than 15,000 Inupiat shareholders, Akima's core mission is to enable superior outcomes for our customers' missions while simultaneously creating a long-lived asset for NANA, consistent with our Inupiat values. In 2024, Akima was ranked number 29 on Washington Technology's top 100 government contractors. Also, the profits of the company go towards the welfare and well-being of our shareholders in the NANA region. To give you some examples, like the yearly dividends we provide our shareholders made a huge impact on their daily well-being, such as their ability to fill gas or oil tank to heat their house in the winters. Along with the dividends, Akima also supports our shareholders in many other ways, such as community development programs, as simple as Wi-Fi access. Educational initiatives such as we run a program called Be Wise program. This is a program that provides educational initiatives for the children living in NANA region of Alaska, which focuses on science and technology in schools. Akima also offers employment opportunities, and we have a pretty robust, not just a shareholder summer internship program, but also a program in which we are able to hire qualified shareholders for various jobs within Akima. So I think it's about community development. It's about being able to give back to the community, especially our shareholders who are truly the rightful owners of the company. I myself, as an employee, am extremely proud of what we do as a company.
I can feel your pride and goodness all the way over here. It's what a beautiful mission and just all of the give back to the community. Such a great story. And so as we kind of dig a little bit deeper, I understand that there's 5 business units
Yes.
comprised within the organization. What are those business units and what is the type of work that they're doing in the cleared community?
Sure. So, yes, we do have five prominent business units: facility solution, emerging markets, technology solutions and products, mission systems engineering and technology, and then construction and security solutions. As indicated from the names of each of these, Akima does a variety of different work within the DoD and cleared space. To name some of the work we do, like from construction on military bases to aviation and fueling the presidential plane to, base operation management on some of the largest military bases and posts in the US, furniture and fixtures for military dorms, cybersecurity work, model-based simulation work, infrastructure engineering, administrative support, you name it, and we pretty much do it. Most of our positions require at least some level of public trust, if not a minimum of a DoD clearance. Some positions we may be willing to sponsor a clearance or bring people on who have the ability to obtain a successful clearance.
How wonderful. Just building upon what you were talking about as far as security clearance, I understand that about 80% of your employees have a security clearance. Can you sort of share for our audience what are the skill sets that you're primarily looking to fill those cleared roles?
So at any given time, we have usually about 800 to 900 jobs active on our website, on various job boards, such as Clear Jobs, of course. Several support services, skilled trades roles like food service workers, like military vehicle and aircraft mechanics, logistics, military warehousing and shipping, to engineering based roles like electrical technician, structural engineer, field engineer, or even some other roles like tech writer, security personnel, network engineer, systems analyst, geospatial engineers, model based simulation engineers, Intel analyst, lead infrastructure SME.
And the big question that everyone has is where are these located? Because you're such a large company, I would believe that you have positions all over the country, maybe all over the world. So, where are some of the main places where you have major installations? And, a big question that's come up for a lot of people is remote or hybrid positions. So, tell us a little bit more about location and hybrid or remote.
Absolutely. So it's remarkable. I started with Akima over 6 years ago, and I've seen how each year we have grown year over year by leaps and bounds, and just our geographic presence has increased tremendously. At this point in time, we have worked in over 48 different states within the United States and 12 different countries and growing. So it could change tomorrow. It could change by the time, we have this podcast live. And I feel like every month we are just expanding our geographic locations and the work we do. A lot of work is also in remote locations because primarily driven by the nature of work and our presence at various military bases such as Fort Cavazos, Fort Carson, Fort Irwin, Fort Stewart, Keesler Air Force Base, Scott Air Force Base, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Fort Belvoir, Joint Base Meyer Henderson Hall, Joint Base Lewis McCord, Redstone Arsenal, and I mean, you name it, and we pretty much do it. In fact, all of our jobs are posted on our website and also scraped on job boards and sites like ClearedJobs.Net. So please go and look for positions open on sites like Cleared Jobs.
We love a good plug. Thank you for that and all of the great places that you can check out all of the amazing career opportunities. And it sounds like you have a couple and continuing to grow in all of the locations. So, really, really cool. A lot of great opportunities out there. But as folks are considering these opportunities, an important part for candidates out there is to really understand the culture of an organization. So you've already kind of laid the groundwork, you've hinted, you've given us some great little nuggets out there about the type of culture of the organization. But we want more. So, as a cleared professional, why in the world would someone want to work there?
Great question. And gone are the times where it was an interview process where a candidate was being interviewed. I feel it's a two-way conversation. Candidates are interviewing the company as much as the company interviews them. And obviously, one of the biggest things that people want to consider is the culture of the company. At Akima, we have an open door policy. We have advancement opportunities, collaboration and teamwork, training and advancement. All of this while employees feel part of company's mission and they know that they can make an impact to our shareholders' lives. Several of our employees began their initial career with Akima and have progressed over the years to make this their forever home. And I personally know so many of my colleagues here who've been here 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and they've been here like they started in an entry level job right after college or in the initial part of their lives, and now they are ready to retire. They will be retiring from this company, which tells you that people have not even felt the need to look for another employer during that time. The structure of the company gives employees to enjoy benefits of working for both a small and a large company. We have over 40 wholly owned operating companies within Akima, and there are advantages for employees to be recognized and get an immediate gratification for their work, because if you're tied to one of the operating companies, you kind of are working for a small, though backed by a large holding company, which is Akima, and your efforts are recognized. You get recognition up to the senior executive level. There are so many programs that we run within the company that provide opportunities for PM advancement, for leadership advancement for employees who are high potential or would like to pursue that route. It is a win-win culture, and I feel like so many employees who come here tend to stay here and thrive in the work environment and the space that we offer, and it is a great culture.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's a great story that people basically have their entire career there, and that really tells me that people feel valued. They feel like they have a lot of opportunities. They have definitely a career path ahead of them. And one thing that I love is, since we're a veteran-owned company and I'm a military spouse, I understand that about a third of your employees are veterans, and you actually have classes that you develop to help the veterans acclimate to Akima. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your veteran culture and what you do to really welcome veterans into Akima?
Absolutely. So the last number I received about the exact number of veteran population within the company is 2,761. And of course, it's a changing number. We hire people every day. But then at Akima, we strive to create an inclusive workplace culture that values skills and experiences of veterans. Akima is currently developing classes for veterans to take to assist them with transitioning from military to civilian life, 401k and investment classes, understanding civilian HR functions, introduction to government contracting, leadership transition, and corporate hierarchy versus military ranks. Akima also participates in the DoD Skill Bridge program and Akima Career Skills. Akima essentially is training a potential hire to step right into a role into their civilian life with little to no company transition. Most of these jobs are specific positions created for training purposes, and we want to do as much as we can for our veterans and make sure that they have a smooth transition as possible, so they could ease into the civilian life and hopefully build a career with a company like us.
I like it. Can definitely build a career there. And I kind of want to go back to the beginning of our conversation where you were telling us a little bit about your career. And your career started out in recruiting. So I'm coming to you as a fellow person who also started in recruiting and has, really would appreciate your understanding on something that you've said. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but you mentioned don't apply to a job title, but apply to a job posting. So, as an expert in talent acquisition, what do you mean, and how can we help our job seekers out there understand that a little bit better?
Absolutely. Great question. Don't apply to a job title, but apply to a job posting. Job titles may not be the best indicator of what the job entails. Occasionally, you would see acronyms and words like SME, a subject matter expert. And I oftentimes tell my recruiters and hiring managers don't just use the word SME because it is very hard to quantify what a SME means and what SME are you looking for. Be more specific. So, in a job posting, I think that is the best indicator of what is it that you need to apply for. Job posting is conclusive of detailed job description to include your job duties and work responsibilities, the work type, the salary range, travel requirements. It's tangible, it's objective. It will tell you exactly what is required in the job for you to be successful in that role. Job titles may be vague, they may be pulled off of a certain library within the company that they used, that's more generic. But a job description should be comprehensive because people may just look at a job title, apply to the job, not knowing is it on site, hybrid, remote, is there a travel? And we've had scenarios in the past where candidates have been like, oh, I didn't know this job needed travel because it was spelled in the job description or somewhere at the bottom of the posting, but apparently nobody paid attention to that and they just looked at the job title and applied to the job. Look at the entire job posting. It is comprehensive. It'll tell you exactly what it entails, what the job entails, and feel free to have a more conversational, comprehensive dialogue with the recruiter during your pre screen, during your initial interview to objectively qualify if it's the right job for you or not.
All great advice, because it's amazing how many times, we'll say that a recruiter only looks at a resume for a few seconds, but we can also say that a job seeker will look at a job title and think that that's something that applies to them without fully going into the full description and seeing exactly what that job entails. And, you know, as they say in the military, fast is slow and slow is fast. So you've had so many examples, so many opportunities to have really successful hiring stories. Do you want to share one of the ones that you've had recently so that we can show our listeners that there are successes out there?
Sure. I feel home and family is where everyone wants to be and to be as close as possible. Recently, my team was able to identify a role with one of our State Department customers, seek approvals for funding, and hire a fully qualified spouse in an Oconus location where the spouse was deployed on a long term deployment. And then we were able to identify a job opportunity that was perfect for the spouse themselves, that was relevant, that we knew could be impactful for the State Department. And incidentally, I mean, they didn't have to relocate, they didn't have to move, and this was co located exactly where the spouse was deployed. It became a win win for the customer. It was a win win for the candidate. Akima bringing in the right candidate to the opportunity that existed. So I feel matching talent to the right opportunity, matching talent to the right customer, to the right mission is imperative for us. And we do that matchmaking job all day throughout the day.
I love a good matchmaking story. Almost as much as I love the inability to find the mute button, it is the struggle is real. So speaking of struggle that is not real, we want to make sure that our candidates are able to get in touch with you. So if they're interested in a career, how in the world can they get in touch with you or your team?
Sure. Best ways to identify jobs that are relevant and then apply for them. That's always the best way to reach out to us. As a federal contractor, we are fully compliant with OFCCP, Office of Federal Contract Compliance and Practices. We require all interested candidates to apply to the job posting. But outside of that, I would say, I mean, some other great ways that you could connect with our team, with our recruiters, is through ClearedJobs.Net job fairs, through LinkedIn. All of our recruiters have a LinkedIn presence profile. They are all active on social media channels like LinkedIn. We also have a general email box that is periodically monitored throughout the day. It's listed on our website, so feel free to use that if you have an initial inquiry. But like I said, I think the best way would be to apply to a relevant job posting that you look at, so somebody can qualify you, reach out to you, conduct a pre-screen, and have that conversation.
Wonderful. Well, Parul, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you sharing with us all about Akima.
It has been my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Akima is such an inspiring organization. I really thought it was fabulous that they had all of these great classes for transitioning veterans, how to step into leadership, how to do investment, what was the difference between military health and insurance programs, and what was going on. Rachel, what did you find interesting about Akima?
There were so many things, but what really just resonated with me and that I took away from the conversation was just the passion that exists about how they give back to the community. I love the Be Wise program where they're just giving back to the community and making sure they're providing those educational services. And with that, friends, the time has come to say goodbye until next time. We are the champions, my friend, and I feel like we should sing the song together. And we're just going to keep fighting till the end.
Till the end.
And you did. You made it all the way to the end. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for making it to the end. And with that, follow us, and we'll see you next time.